It's a pleasure to be here. My lab at IMM studies host parasite interactions. Our favorite parasite is a parasite called trypanosomes that cause sleeping sickness. And we are very interested in understanding how this parasite interacts with its host, and specifically how it interacts with the cells outside of the blood. So what do I mean by this? Most of what we know about these parasites comes from studying the parasites when they live in the blood. And that's for simple reasons. It's very easy to get those parasites. But we have discovered, and a few other groups as well, that these parasites, they actually are present in very high amounts in different tissues. And we discovered that these parasites love the adipose tissue, the fat, and over there they are actually quite different from the parasites that are in the blood. And this was totally unknown. And so we are very interested in understanding how these parasites sense that they are in a different tissue, how do they adapt to these tissues, and what is the relevance, how is this important for the disease? These are questions that we still don't know the answer, and we are trying to tackle them in my lab. Yes. So usually, and that was also my view, if I have a very difficult interview or exam or an ERC interview, I had to know everything, read all the papers, be on top of everything. And it's true in an extent, we do need to know, the application that we submitted. But for me, what was critical in the last interview I had to go through was to make sure that I slept properly in the last 2 weeks before the interview, that I exercised, and that I worked on my self-confidence. So I'm someone that could potentially lose confidence because, I don't know this paper, and lose my confidence. And so I worked on it. So I made mock interviews at home. I pretended I was harsh reviewers asking me harsh questions, and I pretended, to the walls to answer those questions in a way that I would not be taken by surprise, or I would surrender to a difficult or aggressive examiner. So mostly I made sure that I felt well. So physically I was well, so sleeping and doing exercise, and I worked a lot on my psychological confidence and being prepared in that way.